Synthetix is one of the most hyped DeFi projects in the crypto universe right now, with a market cap exploding from just under $10 million in mid-2019 to around $200 million today. So, what is all the fuss about? My name is Guy, and in this video I'm going to answer that very question. I'll also explain what Synthetix is, show you how to use the Synthetix Exchange, explain what SNX tokens are used for, tell you the difference between Synth tokens and SNX tokens, and share some insights into the future of the project. All this is to help answer the question, should you have Synthetix on your crypto watchlist? Now, before I get going, there are just a few quick things I need to say. I create these videos to help you with your research, and they are not to be taken as financial advice. I am definitely no financial advisor. Oh yes, and if you're new to the Bureau and find my videos useful, then don't forget to bosh that subscribe button and ding the little bell to be notified about my latest videos. Also, make sure you stay around to the end to hear my personal take on Synthetix. Okay, all set? Alright, let's slide into Synthetix. To explain what Synthetix is, I'm going to have to start off by explaining what a synthetic asset is. That's synthetic with a C at the end. The first thing to know is that synthetic assets are not just a crypto thing. Indeed, almost every market in the world uses synthetic assets for trading. But what the heck are synthetic assets? Well, in short, a synthetic asset is a simulated representation of a real-world asset. Now, that's a bit of a word salad, so let me explain it with an example. As a Brit, I naturally try and shoehorn football into almost any analogy, and I'm going to do so here. Football players are multi-million-dollar assets who are often transferred from one club to another. Let's take Neymar, for example, and his €222 million move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain. The thing in football is that no two players are the same. They have different levels of skill and attributes which determine their real-world value. I'm an avid Sunday League player myself, and certainly do have a few tricks up my sleeve when it comes to bombing it down the wing and taking a tumble inside the box. However, I can assure you that my signature is not worth the same amount as Neymar's. Now, let's take the computer game Football Manager. This game translates the skills and attributes of different players and creates a virtual representation of each player within the game. In short, Football Manager is all about simulating real-world players and allowing the gamer to flex their football managerial skills within a simulated environment. Here's the game developer's simulation of Neymar in Football Manager. We can think about this version of the player as a synthetic Neymar. In a nutshell, what the creators of Football Manager are aiming for is to tie the attributes and performance of real-life football players with the stats and performance of the player within the game. By doing so, they're creating a synthetic representation of the real player. Now, it may sound crazy, but Football Manager is so good at translating the attributes and skills of real-world players into a synthetic version that real-life football teams are actually using the game's data to help them splash real money on players. Now, let's take it back to crypto. Normal Ethereum would be like the real-world version of Neymar. However, SETH on Synthetix is the simulated or synthetic version of Ethereum. This is like our synthetic version of Neymar in Football Manager. The thing to note is that Synthetix are a simulated representation of a real-world asset. In Football Manager, this is represented in every game update. So let's say that for some reason Neymar plays poorly for a bit. This poor real-life performance would then be reflected in the next database update by reduced attribute stats. In a nutshell, synthetic assets track the performance of the real asset. The same is true of crypto assets like SBTC, SETH, and SBNB on Synthetix. These synthetics are not the real asset and simply track the real-world performance of the real asset. So, now that you know about synthetic assets, I'll move on to explaining what Synthetix with an X at the end is. In short, Synthetix is a trading platform for synthetic assets built on top of the Ethereum blockchain. Another important thing to note is that the platform is currently only partially decentralized. However, there are plans in the future to make Synthetix truly decentralized. More on that later, Chainlink fans. So, what synthetic assets can you trade on the platform? Well, there are a number of different asset categories to choose from. These include fiat currencies like USD, the Euro, Yen, Aussie Dollar, British Pound. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB. Commodities like gold and silver. And stocks are coming soon, which will allow users to trade synthetic versions of stocks like Tesla, Netflix, Amazon, and Apple. Now, if we zoom into the different asset examples on the Synthetix website, you'll notice that there is SBTC and IBTC. So, what you need to know is that anything with an S before the ticker symbol mimics the price of the asset. So, if you bought SBTC when Bitcoin was 10k and the price went to 20k, you would have doubled your money. Effectively, you're going long on the asset. However, Synthetix has assets prefixed with an I, for example, IBTC. This is an inverse synthetic asset, which means you can profit from an inverse moon by effectively shorting it. Both types of assets are known as synths. Oh yeah, another cool thing about Synthetix is that anything with a price data feed can technically be traded on the Synthetix Exchange. In theory, it's possible to enable decentralized synthetic trading for every single stock, commodity, and cryptocurrency in the world. That's the sort of potential we're talking about here. However, it doesn't stop there. In traditional finance, there's something known as an exchange-traded fund, or ETF. Yes, Bitcoin ETF hopefuls, we are having to bring up these sorts of products again. Now, put simply, many ETFs commonly hold a basket of different assets focused on a particular sector or region of the world and trade freely on a stock exchange. If you hop over to Hargreaves Lansdown, the biggest investment supermarket platform in the UK, you'll see a huge range of different ETFs by sector. What these financial products enable you to do is buy a basket of stocks or commodities. So for example, the iShares plc Core FTSE 100 ETF allows me to buy exposure to the whole FTSE 100 index, which means exposure to the 100 biggest stock market listed companies registered in the UK. You'll also notice here that the single ETF has a whopping £8.4 billion in it. The point is that ETFs are bloody popular due to the fact that with just a few clicks I can get exposure to a big basket of different stocks like these. It makes things super easy for investors to diversify their holdings. The really exciting thing is that Synthetix could launch a crypto top 10 synthetic basket holding the top 10 biggest cryptocurrencies, which would mimic the performance of these assets. A pretty easy way to get exposure to the top cryptos, right? Essentially, the platform could create baskets of synthetic assets for nearly anything and slice and dice them in an almost infinite number of ways. Given how much value is locked up in a traditional ETF, that could potentially be a massive market indeed. Now, I quickly want to address the elephant in the room. Why would someone want to hold a synthetic asset and not the real thing? In short, it's for trading purposes. Synthetic assets on the platform are likely for you if you want an easy way to get price exposure without dealing with any centralized entities. So, you're interested in Synthetix. The next thing you'll be wondering is, how do I use the Synthetix Exchange? The key thing to know here is that unlike other exchanges, you're not trading with another person. We'll explain this in a bit more detail in a minute. Once you're on the Synthetix website and click the Take Me There button under the Exchange header, you'll then be told to connect your wallet to the Exchange dApp. Supported wallets include MetaMask, Trezor, and Ledger. Once connected, you'll then be prompted to buy SUSD with Ethereum, which is a synthetic stablecoin pegged to $1. The thing to know here is that to start trading on Synthetix, you'll need to start with some SUSD. Alternatively, you can buy Synthetix's SUSD token from a decentralized exchange like KuCoin, move it to a MetaMask, Trezor or Ledger wallet, and once you connect that wallet to the Synthetix Exchange dApp, you'll be ready to trade. You can then click the Asset button to activate a drop-down showing you all the different assets on the exchange. So let's pretend we have SUSD and we say we want to trade $1,000 SUSD for SETH, synthetic Ethereum. What happens when you execute the trade is that your SUSD is burned and SETH is minted. So with the Synthetix Exchange, you're not trading with other people like in a regular exchange. Instead, the Synthetix Exchange is essentially a synthetic token minting and burning system. Now, you're probably wondering how the prices of synthetic assets are determined when trading. In short, it's all determined by price data feeds, which are also known as oracles. Earlier, I said that Synthetix was only partially decentralized, and the reason why is because these price feeds are completely centralized and controlled by the Synthetix team. That being said, the project does have plans to decentralize these in the future. You can see this price data feed in the bottom left-hand corner of the trading screen. Alrighty, you're probably sitting there and thinking that the Synthetix Exchange sounds pretty cool. However, let's be blunt about it. What on earth is the benefit of all this? Well, in a nutshell, there are three main benefits. 1. It's partly decentralized, and that means there is no KYC and it's non-custodial, meaning you control the keys to your crypto assets. 2. Seeing that you're not trading with other people, and synthetic assets are bought and sold through the minting/burning of synthetic tokens, this means you don't have to worry about liquidity. The reason why is that new tokens can always be minted. And 3. Token supply is not a problem either. In theory, an infinite number of synthetic tokens can be created. This being said, in reality there is a cap, and that's based on the amount of collateral that is backing up the Synthetix system. I've been improper here and thrown around the word collateral without explaining it. Pardon me. In short, collateral is just something that's pledged as security for repayment of a loan. Here, collateral simply refers to the crypto that underpins the value of all issued synthetic assets. More on that later. Now, you're probably wanting to get an idea of how big the Synthetix ecosystem actually is. You can pop on over to the Synthetix dashboard or check out DeFiPulse.com. You'll then discover that the current Synthetix ecosystem is the second largest in DeFi right now and has a whopping $156 million worth of value locked up in it. Not too shabby at all. Let's now move on to talking about the SNX token. You can see on the Synthetix dashboard that over 80% of all SNX tokens are locked as collateral and that the value of these tokens is around $160 million. The key thing here is that the total synth token supply is valued at only $22.5 million. This means that the value of all the synthetic tokens issued is over-collateralized by around 775%. Another interesting fact that I have to share with you is that the Synthetix project incentivizes SNX holders to hold a collateralization ratio of over 750%. This is done through a pretty clever mechanism where SNX token holders can only earn staking rewards if the collateralization ratio is over this number. The staking rewards are basically a distribution of the fees generated on the Synthetix Exchange. Now, you're probably thinking that a 750% collateralization ratio is bloody high, and it is. So, why the insane number? Well, in short, it's this high due to the system being untested and the fact that SNX is a volatile asset. If you've been listening to all this and been thinking that it all sounds very similar to Maker and DAI, then you're absolutely correct. However, the difference is that Synthetix currently has no liquidation mechanism. That's why Synthetix has been so conservative when it comes to the collateralization of synths and why the collateralization ratio is so high. So now you should have a pretty good grasp of the Synthetix project as it currently sits. But what does the future look like for the project? Straight up, I have to say that the current version of the Synthetix Exchange is just a prototype. It's by no means a finished product and is certainly a work in progress. However, the ultimate goal of Synthetix is to become a massive decentralized trading platform where users can trade synthetic assets for anything on the planet. Shout out to The Defiant on Substack, who highlights 4 key things in the pipeline for Synthetix. The first is the introduction of non-SNX collateral options. That would be a big deal, as SNX tokens are currently the only form of collateral. If assets like Bitcoin could be used as collateral, this would certainly make the whole ecosystem much more stable. The second thing in the pipeline is the creation of a liquidation mechanism to stabilize under-collateralized positions. Third, Synthetix acknowledges that its price feeds, also known as oracles, are centralized and that this opens up the exchange to a single point of failure. However, the project is solving that problem via integration with Chainlink. Yes, another thing for Chainlink fans to get excited about. This would mean that centralized price feeds would be converted into decentralized ones. The really cool thing is that the work has already begun here, and the first version of the Synthetix Chainlink integration is already complete for Ethereum, providing accurate and decentralized price feeds for this asset. Oh, and by the way, I actually completed a separate review on Chainlink not so long ago. You can watch it right over here if you want more info. Anyways, Kane Warwick, founder of Synthetix, went on the record to say that the partnership is one of the most significant milestones in the project's history so far. He also goes on to say, "Given our reliance on regular price feeds for our derivatives trading mechanism, finding a robust, decentralized Oracle solution has always been at the top of our priority list. Chainlink delivers the solution, deployed by an excellent team and supported by an invaluable community. Even better, Synthetix's Forex and commodity price feeds have also been chosen for the initial deployment. This covers fiat currency pair trading and US dollar, gold and silver trading pairs. Finally, the Synthetix Exchange desperately needs better trading tools. Things that we take for granted on crypto exchanges like leverage trading and stop losses simply do not exist in the current Synthetix Exchange. These will almost certainly be needed if the project is going to successfully eat into the market share of the likes of BitMEX and Bybit." Congratulations on hanging on in there to the end. I know I've gone through a lot, and the truth is that Synthetix is a very complicated project. So, if you now feel like you get it, then you can give yourself a pat on the back. However, I'd like to finally share my closing thoughts on the project with you. I've been super excited about the potential of Synthetix since researching the project for my recent DeFi overview video. If you've not watched it, you can see what you missed right here. It blows my mind that with Synthetix it's possible to enable trading for pretty much anything that has a tradable price and being able to access price exposure to these assets with crypto. I also think that being able to buy inverse synthetic assets and being able to benefit from downward price movements in a similar way than Bybit could open up the opportunity to a host of new people. What I'm exceptionally interested in is the ability to buy a basket of assets in just a few clicks. Imagine how much simpler it would be to buy a DeFi index rather than having to head over to numerous exchanges and process a dozen or so trades. Also, I'm aware that literally trillions of dollars in assets are parked in similar products in the traditional finance markets. If Synthetix could gain even a few % of that market, I have no doubt that would mean huge things for both Synthetix and DeFi in general. However, one of the main concerns with Synthetix is that it's only really accessible to crypto veterans. After all, how many newcomers to the space know how to set up a hardware wallet or are able to use MetaMask? Access to Synthetix is of course possible, but it does have quite a high knowledge barrier, and I sometimes wonder if many people truly see the value of non-custodial finance. For example, there are millions of people who use investment supermarkets like Hargreaves Lansdown and appear happy to trust that they actually own the assets reported in their account breakdown. It must also be stressed that the current version of Synthetix is only a prototype. There are limited tradable assets available right now, and the exchange is missing many features we take for granted in the centralized exchange world. The team certainly has a lot of work to do to make the platform the decentralized investment supermarket that they envision. However, with all that said, I'm still incredibly optimistic about the future of the project and particularly excited about the planned integration with Chainlink, which aims to make the whole exchange truly decentralized. I'm certainly going to be monitoring Synthetix's progress very closely over the coming months. So chaps, what are your thoughts on Synthetix? Are you going to be adding the project to your watchlist? Do you get the project now? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, likes it if you liked it and subs if you loved it. Also, as always, thank you for watching. I'm going to be back at you with another crypto video very soon. Thanks for watching my latest video. If you found that insight useful, then you may want to sign up to my weekly newsletter. In it, I release my top market tips, share the coins that I've personally got my eye on, as well as the most insane crypto promotions I can find. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then be sure to drop your email in the sign-up form I've provided below. Till next time, guys.